Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Boost! Peekaboo, I see you because I'm YouTube famous now. Available in 2021. The album, Dad AF. The devil went down to Georgia and he was looking for a soul to steal. So he flew down to Calabasas to find Shane and Ryland to make a deal. How are you guys doing today? Every rose has its thorn. Oh my God, you guys, there is so much going on in the YouTube universe. So this is just one of two videos I will be making over here today. I'm going to be making two videos. This one is dedicated to talking about Shane and Ryland's response on his podcast, The Sip, and how Trisha came out afterwards on TikTok, and she had a lot to say about it, which I'm going to show you today, and I'm also going to talk about as well. And then the second video is going to be about Jeffree Star and more people coming out and talking about Jeffree Star and what we all think about that, on and on and on. Whew. I am out of breath. I am tired from watching all of this stuff, but I literally got like 14 hours of sleep last night, so let's get on with the drama, if you want to call it that. Honestly, a lot of this, to me, is so not drama. It's lost friendships, and it's just, it's very, very sad to me. And I want to say this before I get into this video, this whole situation. Take Ryland out of the picture for a second, and let's just talk about Shane and Trish for a second. One of the things that makes me really, really sad about this, which I think should be a very valuable lesson to all of us. And, in any situation like this, I always try to find lessons. Recently on my Peterisms channel, I read this quote from Melody Beatty. As you know, I read a lot of Melody Beatty over there. And she said, in life, when we're going through things, we are often, presented with lessons. But if we're not learning lessons, what we're being offered is a moment to see that we truly are stronger than we thought that we were. So things that happen to us in our lives are either to teach us a lesson or to teach us how strong we are in a situation. And, I was thinking about this while I was watching all of this happen. And I think the really sad thing to me is this, that of all of the things, and I do believe that this will be the thing that brings Shane Dawson down. I really, really do. I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, he's been canceled for a while, whatever. I think whatever project he had that he thinks he's going to come out with, which I talked about in my last video, I speculated about what I think that's going to be. I went into length detailing what I think it's going to be. Whatever grand plan he has to come back and redeem himself in the public eye, the fact that his disloyalty to his best friend that he has had on YouTube for 12 years is going to be the thing that takes him down, I think is really a good lesson to all of us to remember that those people that are closest to us, those people that are diehard good Judies, are, forever in life, are the people that we should be paying the most respect to, I have been blessed in my life to have the greatest friend ever for 24 plus years. And the fact that I can't even imagine, okay, turning my back on my best friend Tanya Jean, or, not defending her honor, which I have done many, many times, and she has defended mine, for money, for fame, for views. It's so incredibly sad to me. But I am a drama commentary channel, so I am going to talk about what's going on and just give you my perspective. Feel free to share what you feel like in the comment section below. Unlike Ryland, I do keep my comment sections opened. In his most recent podcast, he has disabled the comments, and he has also not shown the like to dislike ratio, which is interesting because a lot of people went to his last podcast and started to comment on that. I had already received so many DMs from people that were showing me that on his podcast, he is going in and he is greatly deleting comments off of the, I don't know why he would need to do that. He says in his most recent podcast, he doesn't like drama. He just doesn't want anything to do with it. So as a person that apparently always is out of drama, why he would need to disable comments is beyond me. But anyway, so let's get into this. I'm gonna give you my opinion and tell you what happened. So As you know, Trisha Paytas came out several days ago and she made a video where she said she was distancing herself from Shane and Ryland, basically because they didn't have her back in this whole thing to do with Jeffree Star. That started because Hair by Jay, the Jeffree Star's hair person, wig person, had made a lot of horrible statements about Trisha. I covered that as well. And so then when she talked to Shane, he said, just come over and we'll forget this whole thing ever happened. So at that point, she was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I personally feel like there's a lot more behind the scenes that has gone on. It is also very apparent to me that really nobody has signed any NDAs. We always think that all these NDAs are signed, but I really don't think that that's the case. So anyway, I'm starting to think that more is going to come out. I really believe that a lot of people are going to start sharing their sides of the story. I have this really weird gut feeling that Gabby Hanna is going to come out. Gabby Hanna has a hard time kind of trying to stay out of high dramatics and whatever, and her name has been thrown out in a lot of this. I have a feeling she may come out and say something, but I guess we'll see. So anyway, on the heels of Trisha coming out and saying all of that, Shane didn't come out on Instagram and say anything, of course. Why would he? People are saying, why should he? Why would he? But Ryland addressed it in his most recent podcast, which is called Dealing with Addiction, I believe. So I went into this. Now, if you have watched my videos previously, you know that I am not a lover of the SIP podcast, and it really has nothing to do with my disinterest in Ryland Adams. It just is not my cup of tea. It's not my sip, so to speak. It's uncomfortable for me to listen to. The whole thing is supposed to cover pop culture. I've watched a lot of shows through the years. I've watched The View. I've watched Chelsea Handler. I've watched, what's the show I watch now? I don't even know, with my husband, Andy Cohen. I've watched tons of shows that discuss pop culture events that are going on. And they seem to always personalize it into sexual stories of their own. They did it again in this one, which is, I don't really care to know personally about Ryland Adams and Lizzie, what's her name, Gordon, I think, their sexual escapades. I don't really need to know about all that. So for me, it's just not my thing. I am more of a murderino. So anyway, I love My Favorite Murder. It's my favorite podcast of life. But anyway, I watched this because A, everybody was sending it to me saying that he addressed the Trisha thing, and B, I wanted to see what they were going to talk about with addiction. Because as many of you know, I have been sober for 26 years. I'm actively involved in a 12-step program. So I wanted to see what they were going to say about addiction. Now, I do not watch the podcast enough I didn't know that Lizzie was sober. So before I get in this, I want to say, I did watch the entire podcast all the way through. I got to the end. The last 10 or 15 minutes are about Lizzie talking about her sobriety. Okay, so there are so many people that are involved in all this whole situation, and people are talking about their sobriety and this and whatever, that I do want to say this, okay? And just that piece, I was highly impressed with how Lizzie spoke about her sobriety and being in a 12-step program. As a member of a 12-step program, she did do it the way that we're supposed to do it. She did say she was not representative of any 12-step program. She stuck to traditions, and she shared what was really her talking about emotional sobriety. And I was really impressed with that. So for anybody out there that does like to watch Ryland's podcast, or anybody out there that is struggling with sobriety, I would tell you to at least watch that part. I thought it was powerful, and I was really impressed with how she shared her story and how she talked about why it was important for her to be in a 12-step program, and she also kept it anonymous. And I thought she did it in a really nice way, and I was really impressed with that. So I don't want to just like glaze over this, and then people will be like, oh, you hate Ryland and Shane, and you can't. No, I give total props to how they handled the whole situation. I thought the way that Ryland asked her questions was very well done. I thought that interchange, that piece of the podcast was excellent. I was really impressed with it. Okay, so now let's get into the Trisha and the Shane and the Ryland thing that he addresses at the beginning. So the way that he kind of brought it up was interesting to me. He said, we're a podcast where we talk about, pop culture events or hot topics, he said. And since I'm a hot topic right now, I guess I need to address this. He comes out and he basically says that he doesn't understand why Trisha's upset with him, why Trisha didn't just come to him and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. Trisha goes into her TikToks, which I'm going to show you in a second, and she said, I did come to you. I came to you several times. I showed you text messages from Jeffree Star. You were sitting right there when I got home from Las Vegas. My sister was there. She can collaborate that story. You do know about this. Quit lying. She's going on and on and on. She says that Shane and Ryland basically made a deal with the devil. She continues to insinuate that the only thing she can think of is why they're staying so closely to Jeffree Star is because they made a lot of money off of this collaboration or because of merch that is continuing to be sold. Which is interesting to me because I do not believe that the palette that Shane and Jeffree, I'm not saying that I don't agree with that. I do think this is 100% about money, right? I really, really do. And who knows what kind of contract Jeffree and Shane signed. I mean, I really have no clue what that could look like, right? But what's interesting is that at this point, nobody's making any money off that. I don't believe tons of people are buying Shane's merch. I don't believe anybody's buying the palette anymore. So I don't even know really where you can buy it except for Jeffree Star Cosmetics. So I don't believe that the money has got to be a huge thing. You know what I mean? Like at this point. Unless they're so afraid of something, and she says this, and Trisha said this in her TikTok, unless there is something that Jeffree has over Shane and Ryland, which could be true, you know? I mean, who would knows what that is? You know, I've said this on here before, and I'll say it again, that a long time ago when I talked to Gabby Hanna, she said that after Shane met with, I know people are like, this again. I know, but I think it plays into the story, that the first time that Shane met with Jeffree Star, that he talked to Gabby and allegedly told her that Jeffree still uses the same language that he has been accused of in the past, and that he even supposedly tried to get Shane to use that language. Why? Who knows, you know? But if it would come out that they were back and forth joking and Jeffree Star has knowledge of that or whatever, and Shane is trying to show that he's a changed person from his past, and this would show just a year ago, that could be enough for them not to want to come out. You know, it's it was interesting watching the TikTok with Trisha because she's like, Shane's never said anything about my music videos. He's never pushed, you know, supported me, blah, blah, blah. And I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, you know, Trisha, like, Shane really hasn't ever had your back. Like, there's been only maybe 2 or 3 moments where he's really had her back on everything. And Shane always says his response to that is, I don't want to get involved in drama, okay? Well, Shane's put himself in the middle of a lot of drama in the last couple years, even before all of this happened, you know? So I don't know. She says in there that she hopes they get a lot out of this friendship and yada, yada, yada. I thought what was interesting was if you go into the last video on the podcast, hold on a second, which is called The Truth About Jeffree and Kanye, and you go read the comments, the most recent ones. Let me read you some of the comments. B, what do you mean she wished she would have come to you and talked to you? She did. After that trip, we know damn well she did, as she spoke to the whole world on the issue. So here's the thing. People are coming over here now and commenting on his last podcast because he's disabled the comments. I see you disable the comments on your last video. This is a joke. Show your true colors. Someone said, why would you disable your last video's comments? It says so much. Someone said, I've always thought Ryland was slimy. His reaction to the Jeffree Trisha Shane situation proves it. Someone said, Ryland turning off comments. Please have no filter next video. Embracing your position in it with truth and constructive shame on reacting that way, and it's not really that deep. Should bluntly said everything because there's nothing to expose besides known bigotry due to affiliation. Put yourself where justified. Today's wasn't it, boo. Someone said, you are gaslighting Trisha. What about, these are literally, I'm just going right down. Imagine thinking you're bold for posting about Trisha and then shutting comments down. Pathetic. Wow, turning off the comments because you didn't want to hear about how you are gaslighting. Trish, grow up. Someone said, I'm done with Shane and Ryland. Unsubscribe. Someone said, coming here since you disabled the newest episode's comments. Take accountability at least. Someone said you turned off your comments off on your new video because you knew that you were embarrassing yourself lots and blaming Trish for apparently not being vocal. You guys knew Shane knew you, and goes on and on and on. Disgusting, Team Trish. Shane is fake with applause. Clout goblin, nobody likes you. My guy, I hope you lose all your followers. The only chance you and Shane have to succeed online is gone. And goes on. I remember Ryland saying something about how Shane made him nicer. God, I cannot imagine a person worse than this. No wonder his... Goes on. I'm not going to read that one. Disgusting. Unsubscribing from the podcast. I want to support Shane so much as a fan from 12 years. old, now 26, but I'm just, why all of a sudden my comments just stopped on this one? I can't go any further down here. It just goes to the newest ones and then it stops. What is going on? Hold on a second, let me get to the top comments. Did he literally just turn off comments while I'm reading this? You guys, there's no comments on there anymore. Are you kidding me? It had 3.9 thousand comments. You are kidding me. Literally while I'm sitting here reading it, comments are turned off. Are you kidding me? Ryland, you are done. You are fake. Absolutely fake. I just cannot. I cannot with these people anymore. Let's go to the next one. Let's see if this one's about, has his mom on here. Hold on a second, turn off the ad. He's 2,000 comments. Let's see if people are going over there to these comments yet and commenting. Newest first. It's a pinned one. Oh, don't be shy. Turn the comments back on 1 minute ago. Great move, guys. Deactivating the comments. Don't worry, queens. We won't forget this. Trisha was your guys' only true friend. You guys chose money over true friends. Trash. Someone said, can't believe he's disabling comments. What a joke. I mean, you guys, this is bad. This is really bad, okay? And what's interesting is I had commented on Twitter and I had said, hold on a second, I want to get to this because I was looking at something to do with Garrett Watts. I can't believe it. I'm like literally floored right now. You guys are a bunch of idiots running around over there and you think people are going to believe this? You're done. I mean, this is so sad. Literally all you had to do, and I have to say, like I said what I said about Lizzie at the end of it, but Lizzie like turns to the camera at the beginning and she's like, Trish, we love you and blah, blah, blah. It was kind of so patronizing at the beginning. Like they really kind of talked down to Trish, both Ryland and Lizzie. And they kind of like it's very patronizing and they're like, you know, Trish, we love you and blah, 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 whatever. And kind of like really making her look like the idiot, like, it's just, it's so condescending and patronizing to watch. Ryland's not emotional in it at all, okay? I mean, if I lost my friend or if my husband, like his friend and him were like no longer, I mean, my husband's had his best friend since high school, okay? If that were the situation, I would be so emotionally distraught. I would be like, you guys, I feel so horrible about what happened. Like, Trisha, if you want to come on here and publicly, we can air this out. Or privately, like, I will come to you, like, with security if you want that. Like, I feel horrible about what happened. This, you know, but like, to address it in this way and just like, oh, let's go on to pop culture. And he even says in there, like, there's no easy transition for that. Well, then you shouldn't have put it on the video. You shouldn't have, like, talked the whole thing about it or something. It's just, oh my God, you guys, I just can't. So anyway, blown away that happened right in the middle of it. So I had put up this tweet, which I said, Ryland again attempting to do damage control for Shane while putting his foot in his mouth. If these people are going to continue this way, they should seriously hire PR people. None of these people have PR people, which is beyond me. You make tens of millions of dollars a year. Hire somebody straight out of college with creative ideas, original ideas. Keep them on retainer for $50,000 a year, which to you is a drop in a bucket purse, okay? Keep them on retainer 24 hours a day for when a situation like this happens, because any PR person in the world that you called and said, so we're going to do this podcast, okay? Do you think that we should address the Trisha situation on there? And this is how I plan to address it because it's already scripted. Would tell you with a resounding no, okay? And if you don't believe me, go to the comment sections that you're now disabling. Because everybody underneath there is telling you this was a bad move. Anybody could have told you that before. Unreal to me. So somebody said, you need to start your YouTube famous PR firm. Oh, this is from Charles. Well, thank you. But anyway, then I couldn't do my videos anymore. So, oh, Manal, I love you, Manal. She said, yes, I literally just saw it and he didn't help the situation at all. Allison said, getting active, love it. Yeah, I'm getting more active on this Twitter over here. Real Life Bratstall said, I refuse to watch it. I read the comments and that was enough for me. Brittany said, so true. Kirsty said they should hire you. Yeah, as if. Oh, well, this one said, I disagree. I think he handled it the best way he could at this point. And this person's name is Me Loves Rye. Like Ryland, and their picture is Ryland Adams. So, then somebody said they need to hire Peter Monn. Okay, what would you have to talk about if they had all? I wouldn't have anything to talk about if they all had PR people. Someone said just stay off the internet. Someone said exactly, Peter. I agree. That was Savage Jazz. Go watch Trisha's TikTok, said Elizabeth, which I did at that point. So here I'm going to play you Trisha's TikToks.
Okay, so I just saw Ryland's podcast, and it's really hurtful. It's really hurtful, but I just wanted to address a few things. The first being, why didn't Trish come to us about this problem that she was on? I did. Right after it happened, continuously throughout, phone calls with Shane and you on my couch, telling you about, it's not just drama. It's not drama. Like, it's full on harassment, telling me to oh, there's a balcony jump, telling me, like, throwing shit in the thing, like, just being so mean, smacking shit out of my hand. I did tell you this. It's not drama. He says he's not a mind reader. Well, you don't have to be a mind reader because I told you guys multiple times, and you know this. It's just straight up, it's actually crazy. Two friends got in an altercation a year ago. I did absolutely nothing. I was so excited to go on this trip. I came back and I was traumatized. I was bawling my eyes out. I was crying. It wasn't an altercation. What did I do? Harry J's like, oh, Trisha should be lucky Jeffrey's not laying straight out. What did I do? I did absolutely nothing to warrant this. Then he goes on to say we could have talked this out with her. Well, guess what? When he did text, he said, let's forget about it. And he ended it with, well, I didn't want to believe what you said about Jeffrey. How are we supposed to talk about it? The fact that he said I can't read someone's mind is like, I don't even know who this person is. And he's actually the fakest person. And this just proves it. It just proves it. And I knew it. When they had Jeffrey up there, like, praising him, all this great stuff. Like, I knew it was fake. I knew it was for abuse. These people sold their soul to the devil. It is scary. It's scary. And you know what? I'm not upset with you guys. You kept saying, I don't know why she's upset with us. You're mad. I'm not upset. I'm not angry. I'm, like, so disappointed. 12 years of friendship with Shane. And however many years, 2 or 3 years friendship with you. And you just, like, being there, sitting on my couch, like, all this time. And guess what? Another thing about your friend Jeffrey, his so-called being there for you guys during all this trauma. Well, here, I think you know who this is from. A breakdown of when Shane was bawling his eyes out, Jeffrey rolling his eyes like, oh, it's Shane again. Maybe it's hard for her to express her feelings about Jeffrey. F you, Ryland. F you. You are a POS. You are a POS because you knew exactly how I felt this entire year. And this is why I blocked both him and Shane. They are so manipulating, gaslighting. They're so cruel. It's insane. And Ryland is so fake. And let me tell you why. Because he's like, yeah, Jeffrey's always been kind of like not that great to me. He kind of ignores me. And he's not nice to Morgan. And this, that, and the other. Shane also saying to me last year during all this trauma is like, oh, maybe Jeffrey's like this villain. Like, I'm scared. What do we do? Like, how do we distance ourselves from him? There was no drama. I said I was never going to expose Jeffrey because you guys were still like in business with him and stuff like that. There was no drama. It's straight up the bullying, being mean, being nasty, like, but like traumatized. It's more than just me having an issue with somebody. This was like a personal, private matter that I confided in you guys in. And then you're turning this around and be like, I wish she would have talked. Oh, maybe she doesn't know how to express herself when it comes to Jeffrey. There is no mending this friendship or relationship. You guys made a deal with the devil and I want nothing to do with that evil energy. It's nasty and it's disgusting and I repute it. You want some internet drama, Ryland? You want drama because that was traumatizing. That is shit that I'm still dealing with. It's just why I bring it up. It's why it keeps going through my head. It's why I keep talking about it with you guys all the time about the Jeffrey situation. Let's talk about internet drama. Okay, yeah, you don't, oh, Trisha talked to me about the podcast and I'm wanting to take it down. Like, I've told it to Shane 3 times and he glazed over it. The fact that you guys are praising this evil, this monster, and I should have known this was evil. Here's some internet drama for you. When Shane asked me to take down videos that we did with Trevor Moran of him like singing in Shane's apartment or whatever during his whole scandal, I took it down. Why? Because, I don't know, Shane is like a friend and if he says something's uncomfortable, I do take it down. Anything. He's asked me to take down so many videos. You know how many videos I asked Shane to take down on me? 0. I don't know what Jeffrey has over you and Shane. I don't know what dark shit you guys do, what devil magic you guys are doing, but it's dark and I want no part of it. And your podcast just showed how cold and evil you have become, how there's no soul behind those eyes. I hope it was worth it. Like, I really did want to cleanse. And then when I saw, because I really did not think he was going to like address it because it's just heavy. And usually when stuff's heavy and serious, they ignore it and they hide, which is just like, just by all the coldness in the tone, he's just like, all right, well, moving on to this podcast. It's like, I'm so disappointed that was his response to all this. Like, it's crazy. How people can change so quickly is insane. There's some darkness around this. I don't know what it is. I don't know if like there's secrets, they have stuff on each other. I don't know if it's just strictly for money, to keep collecting money from the palette and from the merch and from, you know, Jeffrey being on the podcast. And so I don't know what it is. It started out as an issue with apparently an issue Jay had with me, and then Jeffrey also like obviously being a part of that. And now it's gone to this. It's cowardly and it's sick and it's blows my mind. I just want to say that I am so thankful for all the people who are speaking the truth. Tab, I'm so sorry for saying that I was scared of Jeffrey and I didn't want to back up or corroborate your story. Like, you're not on Jeffrey's payroll. I should have backed you up because that shit happened on that trip and I didn't. Oscar, you were so close with Jeffrey last year, and like all that shit you said, only stuff that I texted Jeffrey, like saying that like I got a Rolls Royce, am I you yet? Like in admiration of Jeffrey, like only you and like only Jeffrey would know that. So I know this is true. All the shit he said about Shane and stuff. Like I thank you for speaking your truth. My sister can corroborate that we sat around a table after my Vegas trip with Jeffrey, and I was like traumatized. And my sister was like, yeah, she came home bawling. We were all sitting there. Moses can corroborate like that I told him this. I spoke this. So if you're confused, Ryland, as to why. And you claiming I didn't come to you, I did, and you know this. And the fact that you are lying about this stuff is like, this is what I'm saying is the darkness. I'm so confused. And what sucks is this was all started by that Hair by Jay video that like triggered me so hardcore. And what sucks the most is that Ryland and Shane know this is exactly the words that were coming out of Jeffrey's own mouth on that trip. They know this, but now everyone, including Jeffrey, is shifting the blame solely to Jay because he was dumb enough to come out with it publicly. Jeffrey himself said, I've already apologized to Trish for it, confirming that this stuff is true. Like, I know people dislike me and stuff like that, and my own friend Shane of 12 years doesn't even believe me, but I just feel like if more people speak the truth that aren't on Jeffrey's payroll, like, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. It's not internet drama. This is something that's traumatizing. Shane was being canceled for all his inappropriate jokes, and he asked me to delete an innocent video of us with Trevor Moran when he was 15 years old, and I didn't think twice about it, but now I'm starting to think twice about it. Is that also just internet drama? Like, I just don't know what else to do with this. Like, I'm so just beside myself. I'm just so beside myself. I'm really, really, really trying to let this go. I'm really trying to let this go and deal with like my own trauma in my head from like all of this shit, even from those moments, like, because I literally didn't do anything. I didn't do anything to warrant them making fun of my skin, making fun of saying that I'm on drugs to people, like making fun of the fact that I admired Jeffrey and wanted to be like him and stuff like that. Like I did nothing to warrant this. I know I can be a shitty person at times online. Like I know people don't like me for various reasons, but I did absolutely nothing in this private relationship except to be his friend. I didn't take any money, no jobs, nothing from Shane or Jeffrey, but they're both using each other for money. It's disgusting. Money is the root of all evil. I don't know how I was like so blind to all this. I don't know how I was so blind and so stupid. And I hope more people wake up. I hope more people will speak the truth. And Ryland just straight up lying. It makes me physically sick. Like I don't know, how do you can't even go against that. Like, so like I just don't know what to do anymore than like show screenshots. I guess Shane and Jeffrey, they do everything through voice memos. So like the voice things will delete. I guess you can save them. I don't know how. I never really did, but they've always been paranoid about people screenshotting shit and stuff like that. But I can show my screenshots and you'll just see it looks like I'm talking to myself because like the voice memos disappear or whatever. But I told them in group chats. I told Shane privately, like, me and Jeffrey have conversations specifically detailing all the stuff that happened on that trip and him like apologizing and stuff like that. Like, there's text messages. I don't know why Ryland is confused, why he's saying Trisha didn't come to us personally. I had no idea. Maybe she didn't express herself well enough about Jeffrey. I have the text. I hate showing like screenshots like that. I think that's like such an invasion of privacy, but I don't know what else to do. Like, because it's just, I'm dealing with just liars, like just straight up lying about people that I really thought would have my back just a little bit more. Stay friends with the devil, but just have my back maybe just a little bit more. Give me a little bit of credit. Also notice on the podcast, it's Ryland trying to defend him and Shane's image and honor, skipping over Jeffrey completely, trying to be like, we don't support the negative things that were said about Trisha. Who would support that? It was constantly, she didn't come to us personally. I don't think she knew how to express herself. We could have talked this out. Like, all they care about is like their image. That's all they care about in this situation. Like, they don't care about anything else. Just like when I texted Shane, and I can show it, I texted him so many times about like, how could you be praising Jeffrey in this podcast when you knew all the shit he's done to me? Like, that was my issue. Skipped over it. It was constantly like, I'm going to therapy, please. You're the only person in my life. Fast forward to Ryland being like, we didn't know about any of this stuff. She never came to us personally. She could have talked to us about it. I'm like having a panic attack over here. Did you know the biggest lie out of Ryland's mouth is when he's like, I don't support anything negative said about Trish. When you know damn well those are the words. Everything Jay said were the exact same thing that I told you and Shane about not once, not twice, multiple times after I came back from Vegas. I can show it in text messages. I said it in real life. My sister was there to hear it. And that is how I know this person is literally so far gone for money, for whatever, for views. I don't know what it is. And that sucks.
So that's what Trisha had to say. Very, very sad, isn't it? Very, very sad that, this whole situation could have been handled so differently if Ryland, or if Shane and Ryland really truly were good friends and good people. And so much more is coming out about Jeffree Star now. One of the questions I think is going to be really interesting to follow up on is, who do you think is going to bow out of this friendship first? Do you think it will be Shane, or do you think it'll be Jeffree? See, this is where I believe, okay? Shane is now stuck so firmly to Jeffree that Shane's not going to be the one to walk away from Jeffree. Also because, like Trisha, she said, this is his cash cow, okay? Jeffree Star is Shane Dawson's cash cow. So he's not going to walk away from that. People are also assuming that maybe Jeffree Star is going to be in whatever project Shane Dawson did. If Shane Dawson puts Jeffree Star in whatever project that he has coming out, that is literally like the stupidest move I have ever seen, ever. There's a lot of things that Shane could do at this point. And Trisha keeps on talking about how he's going to recover. I really, to be honest with you, I don't know that he can. And I almost kind of wonder if Shane was very, very close to releasing whatever project he was going to put out. And Trisha was like, no, because she keeps on saying that. But I almost kind of wonder if what she's really saying is, no, and I'm going to make sure that that doesn't happen. Because you hurt me bad enough that you couldn't stand by me through this. So now I'm going to screw whatever you had coming out to show what a great changed person you are. Because the one thing that nobody ever expected from all of this, okay? Back in the days of Train, Trisha and Shane and the videos and all this kind of stuff. The one thing that nobody ever expected through all of this was that Shane wouldn't stay true to Trisha. But the fact that now Trisha is coming out, and this is not a publicity stunt. For anybody that wants to believe this is a publicity stunt, this is not. Do I believe that Trisha and Shane's friendship at some point may be redeemed? Yes, I do believe that. Do I think that in 2 weeks they could sit down and have a conversation and Trisha will say, Shane and I are friends again, I have forgiven him? Yeah, and in all honesty, as much as she has been hurt, if Shane, this is off camera, I'm talking about off camera, okay? As much as Shane or Trisha has been hurt by Shane and Ryland, if they would have an authentic and genuine conversation where Shane really took accountability and Ryland really took accountability and they were really willing to, mend fences and talk about what they were going to do going forward, I hope that for them, okay? I mean, listen, we're human, we err, okay? I don't want them to lose a 12-year friendship. Any of them. It makes me sad. But that's only going to be able to be redeemed if Shane and Ryland, really Shane, okay? I mean, Ryland's just his partner. Really Shane at this point, if he's willing to go to Trisha and fix all this, which Trisha wouldn't be coming out in TikToks talking about Ryland's podcast if Shane had Trisha on speed dial calling her every 5 minutes, which quite frankly, okay, if my friend was this upset with me, I would be texting her and being like, I'm coming over, please see me, please be willing to talk to me, please be willing to sit down to me, because I value my friendship so much in my life, The fact that Shane isn't trying to do that, and that Ryland said in the podcast, he said something to the effect of, well, I was going to reach out to Trisha, but I just wanted to wait and see how this whole thing played out. What, drama? You wanted to see how the whole drama played out? No, that's the moment you pick up the phone and you say, I'm sorry I hurt you. I don't understand this. I'm confused, okay? Trisha said she's confused. I'm confused by this. I'm not saying that they haven't all done things. There's a lot of people on the internet that are saying, Trisha did this, and Shane did this, and Ryland did this, and Jeffree did this, and they're all just, not good people. Hey, I see that, okay? I get this. But I think when we're talking just about this specific situation, it's like, Ryland and Shane's true colors are really, really coming out. I cannot believe it. Now, if you go over to the comments from the next video, people are literally floating right over there. I have this pulled up. Guys, time to dislike this video. Snake. Turns comments off because everyone knows y'all are snakes. Everyone, LOL, you better stop. So, you're just going to turn off the comments on this too? Dang, you guys are getting desperate. Just do the right thing, man. It's not that hard. And then you don't have to worry about your comment section. Exactly. When did doing the right thing become such a hard deal in life, When did that become, Shane Dawson has had now, 8 months to address his audience? Ryland got in a podcast monetized his apology to Trisha Paytas. Can we talk about that for a second? Monetized also had a sponsorship on the podcast where he's talking about this stuff. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't. They should monetize it. I think Trisha might have monetized her video. No, I know she did with the J thing. So I get it, right? But it's like, I don't know. The whole thing just, it makes me so sad. So, I mean, I just don't even, I can't wrap my head around it. I really can't, you know? And I think this is where, as viewers, that we want our YouTubers to be relatable and things like that. Wouldn't you want your friend to stick up for you? I mean, and people are like, well, why should Shane publicly stick up for Trisha? Because he was her friend, you know? And I'm talking about off-camera friends. I'm talking about not a friend that he just communicated with through Twitter or, and I'm not saying that those aren't real friendships. I'm saying, like, spent time with her. You know, she shared personal stories of her life. She talked about that, right? She was vulnerable with this person. And yet he can't even have her back at any expense, you know, except to say, through Ryland. Shane can't even come out. He used Ryland to do this for him, right? Anyway, the whole thing is just, it's sad. It's very, very sad. So anyway, I'll be back in my next video. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section below. Love you. Bye.